blues. Part of our American history. Part of our culture. The wellspring of jazz, rock and roll, rap, popular music. The blues, part of our everyday vocabulary. I got the blues. Hey brother, how you feeling blue? The blues. Music of people having hard times. Music of the oppressed, the marginalized. The blues, the experience that all people know at some point in life. But some people live the blues. Gonna tell you why I sing the blues. Hi, my name's David Michael Boyd. I am the founder and director of Blues Behind Bars. We're a Colorado 501c3 nonprofit Christian organization. And what I'd like to do with this little video, and by the way, thanks for checking it out and finding out a little bit more about who we are. I'd like to introduce myself and introduce our program to you a little bit. You'll hear from a couple of the team members and see some of our team playing music together so that you get a bit of a taste for the flavor of what it is that we do. So, I'm a former missionary. I was a pastor with the Association of Vineyard Churches. We pastored a church in Longmont, Colorado, and later went to Vienna, Austria, and started a church there. We lived there for 12 years. Besides planting the church, I was also involved in a very rich fellowship of Christian artists, and this experience planted a deep vision in my heart for using the arts to build bridges to people who are outside of the church and don't know about Jesus, to use creativity to bridge the gap between the church and the non-church population. And Blues Behind Bars actually began as a byproduct of being a musician. I started playing the cello when I was 8 years old in school. I started playing the guitar. I switched from cello to guitar when I was 11. Been playing in bands since I was 14. And when we came back from Austria, one of the first things I did was gather up some musician friends. We started a band called Davy and the Blue Dog. We had an invitation to go out to the Sterling Correctional Facility and play a concert. And if I can do the math in my head, that would be about 2009 when we did that, so 11 years ago. And that captured our hearts, captured our imagination, planted a vision. We later dropped the name Davy and the Blue Dog. We call the band and the program Blues Behind Bars because these days that's just about all we do. Play blues behind the bars.
For me personally, I had done a little bit of prison ministry in the past. Back in Brush, Colorado, when they had the youth detention center out there, I used to go out there and and work with the young males out there. And when we did it as a band, though, it was a totally different experience. As a group of people going in and seeing the response of the inmates and the hunger that was there really ministered to me. And I had somebody say this, and it's a scripture, and that is where sin abounds, grace does more abound. And I think in the prison situation, when we're ministering as a band or talking or a workshop or what have you, you just really sense the grace of God there. And it's just awesome to be a part of that because of that.
Ever find it hard to trust yourself? Feel anything you could do would ever be enough? Hard to think you could be strong enough to stand. Even though you'd cried time and time again, you got a clean heart, you got dirty hands.
It's just cool to be in an environment where you see God move. You see people respond. You see them have the chance to decide whether to take this wonderful opportunity, this gift, and do something with it. David has remarked that the audiences we get in the prisons, we get the sense of freedom.
Each day I see a frown in the mirror, look down in my chest. The reason is clear. I need a cover up. 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 Can't stand to wear that name, and I can't stand to bear that pain.
We sing a song like I Am Free or Amazing Grace or something, and these guys are up on their feet, their hands in the air, they are singing full voice, and David's remarked that it's more free to play for prisoners behind bars sometimes than it is to play, say, at some of the churches on this side of the bars. So,
for the day I met you, I was doing just fine. Before the day I met you, I was doing just fine.
There are two Bible verses that are foundational to why we do this, and I'm just going to read to you Isaiah 61, which says, the Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. This is a verse that Jesus read when he stood up at the very beginning of his ministry and announced what he was about to be doing. Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives and release from darkness for the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all who mourn, to provide for those who grieve in Zion, to bestow upon them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of despair. And they will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord, for the display of his splendor. I like that last thing. You know, you wouldn't think of people who are incarcerated being oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of his splendor. But we believe that God's transforming power in a person's life could accomplish that, even for somebody who's committed crimes and has wound up behind bars.
Clean heart, but I got